The Society of St. Vincent de Paul here in the Archdiocese of Galveston-Houston has announced the appointment of the organization's next executive director. After a 6 months nationwide search, the Executive Search Committee and the Board of Directors selected one of their own to lead St. Vincent de Paul Society here in Houston. Better yet, the outgoing executive director is helping lead the transition. Joining me on the program is Schorno. She is the outgoing executive director, and Val Senegal. She is the incoming executive director, again, Society of St. Vincent de Paul here in Houston. And Val, thanks for coming on the program. We appreciate your being here.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
And I talked with you last year, it was this time last year in February, all about the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. So let's bring everybody up to speed here. Tell me a little about the organization and what you guys do for those who are unaware.
So the Society of St. Vincent de Paul is a lay Catholic organization. We've served within the Archdiocese for over 150 years, and our mission is really about bringing together men and women to grow in spirituality through service. So it is really that opportunity to actively live the gospel values. As somebody said, we don't do it because they're Catholic, we do it because we're Catholic. And so it's just a fabulous opportunity. So it's very much a volunteer-based organization that provides assistance for people in need throughout the area.
Very good. So as I mentioned, Ann, you're the current executive director, and Val, currently you are the chief program officer.
Right.
So tell me, Val, a little bit about what you currently do, your current role at Society.
Yes, so my current role is to oversee our program portfolio. We strive to execute services across the 10-county area that alleviates people in their suffering. So all of those many programs, from the Underserved Communities Initiative to our Systemic Change Initiative that has the Getting Ahead programs, those all fall under my belt. So I have to lead performances and I have to lead the execution of these services to make our area the best in the United States.
That seems like a lot on your shoulders here. The good part is that you're taking over this position, which is going to be April 1st. Luckily, you have Ann to kind of help you out. You're already familiar with the organization. You've been working there, and Ann can kind of help you with that transition. So tell me, Val, how that transition is going, trying to do your current duties, but then also learn all these other things that Ann's trying to get you up to speed with.
Great question. It's a godsend. I'm so glad this woman is still here with me.
Well, not all transitions are that easy, right?
No.
Sometimes people leave and they don't have months to work with somebody like that.
Absolutely. And at the Society, we're very intentional. So I'm so thankful that we've designed it this way, and I have her support so that way she can keep me focused on where we are right now and where we're headed. So that way there's a smooth handoff of responsibilities. We want to make sure that we leave no stone unturned. And that is what she and I are able to do during this process, which is going pretty smooth. I think, Ann, right?
I would agree.
Yeah. So Ann, what are some of the biggest things that Val needs to learn? Because I would think that, she already knows a lot being the chief program officer about the work that you guys do.
So she and I have talked a lot about it. I mean, one of the things is really directional in terms of specific program goals from that basis, because you're all of a sudden looking at a much larger piece of the organization too, and working with volunteers. So we work with volunteers, and so it becomes a really important part that how do you build those relationships so that you can continue to influence. I mean, the positive piece is Val spent the last 2.5 years sharing an office with me, so she's learned a lot during that period of time just by being part of our weekly dialogue in terms of how the society works. I mean, I've been there for 15 years, so there's a lot of things you just do because you know and understand. So we're trying to work through that transition.
And you had mentioned volunteers. Val, I want to follow up with you on that. What kind of work do volunteers do? If somebody's interested in volunteering, I can imagine it runs the gamut in terms of what they can and jump in, participate in.
There's so much that they can do, but one thing we're changing right now is the narrative. We're asking the incoming volunteers that are going to be growing as Vincentians, what do they want to do? How do they want to serve the Galveston-Houston area, because everyone has God-given talents and skills, right? And we've acquired them, just personally with who we are designed to be in this world. And then we've also gathered, professional skills. And some people want to leverage their professional skills as a Vincentian. Some people just want to use their God-given talents. So we're asking that question first. Because someone has to have, a little bit of perspective on how they will impact the communities that we serve. And then we try to match them into many different opportunities that we have. If a person wants to be, the boots on the ground, going into homes and communities and providing that person-to-person service to alleviate someone who's in crisis and distress, absolutely. We want to make sure the right people are doing that kind of work. If someone wants to help serve in the food pantry, we know that that's many operations that goes into executing a well-run pantry. If someone sees themselves as a leader, I want to serve on the board. How do I be a part of that succession plan? We want to offer those opportunities for someone to find their right fit. It has to be a win-win.
And Val had mentioned Vincentian, values. Tell me more about that. That's at the core of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul.
I think at the core of the society really is living the gospel values. So it's trusting in divine providence. It's humility. It's reminding that we serve, so rather than being served. So all of our activities should be driven in that spirit in terms of how we approach, because we're about building relationships with the people that we serve, with our other fellow Vincentians, because that really is as important, or I'd say more important, than what we physically do. So it really is that service element.
You had mentioned, Ann, that you're working with Val about the direction, about where the society is heading moving forward. Val, I want to follow up with you a little bit more on that. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges right now, maybe to society, but just to people in general around the Galveston-Houston area that may need to be addressed, but it's not necessarily easy to do so?
That's a great question. Nationally, the society has this theme, adapting to a changing world. And I think that is pretty much collectively the challenges that we are all experiencing across the United States. You have volunteers that are younger and have a lot of energy, but they also have other obligations as well. Traditionally, the society was made up of a lot of retirees, and they were older, or more seasoned individuals, 70s, 80s. And now we are finding new opportunities, new ways to bring individuals in so that way they can have a meaningful experience, but most importantly, grow spiritually, because that's a very important growth piece that we're all having. It's a journey, right? Throughout our entire life, we're trying to grow closer to God and be more Christ-like. And we have to make sure we honor that, but also have these opportunities where we are striving to create that win-win experience.
Val, I want to follow up on that by just asking you personally about your own relationship with God and maybe spending time serving others in your capacity, whether it's been at Society of St. Vincent de Paul or others in your life. How do you think you've grown as a person and spiritually with your years of experience?
Oh, that's a great question. My spiritual journey, of course, started for me when I was in a very bad accident shortly after being confirmed. And like anyone, I went off to college, was a little close with God, and then drift away, right? You go through those experiences, and then you get married, have children, and then God really shows up and makes you go to him in such a way that I went and I sought him more and more, sitting in the chapel, reading the Bible, because one day after confession, a priest that I had a really good relationship with, he said, Val, a lot of people talk to God, but they don't listen to him. And I said, well, how do I listen to him more? And he said, you read the Bible. His words are there. And so that's when I dedicated my time to be a learned person of what his words are. What is he trying to teach me? How can every single story in that Bible be applicable to where I am walking in life? And it has really helped me as an individual. I've learned how to really develop, sharpen my own talents that he has given me. And I've learned what he did not bless me with. I have to find the right folks who have those talents and gifts to help in these capacity areas. He's an integral part of my life. I never forget my grandmother telling me that, baby, you got to keep living and you got to keep him at the center of everything you do. Mm-hmm. He's got to be with you in your family. He has to be with you at work. You're going on that career. You have to make sure every step of the way you're with him. And that was the best advice she could have given me, because everything I do has been with him, by him leading me, guiding me, standing beside me. And so it has been just an honor when my occupation and my vocation can align here at the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. He has not led me wrong.
Amen. It's powerful testimony there, and I agree with you. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, and part of life is just trying to figure out what we can do and play those strengths, hopefully improve a little bit on our weaknesses through the power of God. And I want to follow up that by asking you about how you've grown spiritually. You've been the executive director now, I think you mentioned 15 years. Mm-hmm. How do you think you've grown now that you're moving into the retirement? How do you think maybe you're closer to God, better person? What do you think after this journey that you've been on?
I think if you talk to most Vincentians, they start to serve, but they continue because of the personal impact it's had on them in their lives. And I would fit that same thing. I mean, I wouldn't have done this for 15 years if I didn't feel that it was blessing me and teaching me skills to be able to view how to approach my life going forward. And I think, it's that trust. It's that faith. That's a lot of what the readings have been about recently. Mm-hmm. And it's really reminding us that, God's there with us. He's with us through all those situations. And I think he's blessed me in so many ways coming to the society, and I don't know where the next 15 years will lead me. My career seems to be in 15-year mm-hmm. Pieces, and I'm listening to where that call might be.
Good piece of advice to listen to God from both of you on that one. Val, bring me up to speed here on upcoming events that we want to let the public know about from the Society of St. Vincent de Paul.
Well, we will be at a lot of the Archdiocesan events for the young adults. Okay. Because we are adamant to open our doors and make sure we are creating that culture of welcome for our young adults. Mm-hmm. So Cafe Catholica Light, there's a series we've executed our presence and the activities at that one, and then there'll be some upcoming ones that we will be there. So if someone wants to meet us and learn more about us, see how they can get involved, we're asking them to definitely show up and find us, find our table, and we would love to meet you, and we would love to get you connected.
Well, absolutely. And of course, like I said, there's lots of volunteer opportunities in different capacities as well. You guys annually do something called a black bag, Val. Tell me what that is. So the black bag is a historical way that we have been able to raise funds for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. And the funds are to help us further our mission. We do not get any funds from the DSF campaign. So Black Bag occurs every year during the summertime, July, usually the second week, mm-hmm. right, Ann? Where parishioners are able to put money in to support the execution of the Society's mission and vision. Very good. Excellent. Finally, I'm running out of time here, but Val, what's your call to action for our listeners? So the call to action for all of our listeners out there, Catholic, devout Catholic, or straightaway Catholic, time to come home, and the Society of St. Vincent de Paul has its doors open to you. If you are looking for your tribe, your community of people that you can grow spiritually with, we invite you. We invite you to come join us on this journey as we continue to improve the lives of people across the Galveston-Houston area. Very good. And if people want to learn more about the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, where can they go? Is website, that kind of thing?
The website is www.svdphouston.org.
One last question for you, and before we go, why do you think Val is going to make a great executive director?
Well, you've seen her energy and passion for our mission, and that's clearly what you need in order to be effective in such a nonprofit role.
Amen. Well, we're going to continue to pray for you guys as well as for volunteers, everybody involved in the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, and pray that you guys continue to have success and be able to serve others as you are continuing to do so. Ann Schorno, the outgoing executive director, Val Senegal, the newly appointed executive director, Society of St. Vincent de Paul here in Houston. Thank you both so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine.